Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are either watching our live recording or listening to the Mindshare podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at industrysyndicate.com and mindshare101.com. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. This is episode 14. So his passion for real estate started in 2004 when he owned and managed multiple profitable real estate investments. After obtaining his real estate license in 2010, he moved to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and became an active member in the industry, speaking to business professionals locally and abroad. He's passionate about expanding his expertise in the real estate market, and he truly cares about his clients and their families, priding himself in helping others accomplish their goals. Named one of the top 100 realtors in Canada under 35 in 2015, and again in 2018, he is part of the top 1% in sales for Royal LePage across Canada. And he is the CEO of Ask Anthony and Associates. It is my pleasure to introduce my special guest and friend, Mr. Anthony Brown, to the show today. Anthony, thank you for being here, brother.
That's my pleasure, man. Listen, I'd do anything for you.
Buddy, you're the man, bro. Seriously, I got jacked. Just knowing that you were going to be here today sort of like gets you waking up going, oh, man, and we got to keep this kosher today, all right? It's got to, subdued type stuff. I know, but seriously, everybody, I did invite him on today because of his success. He's a good guy, and because he's got an incredible backstory that truly gives me chills and excitement all at the same time every single time I hear it. Today, I want to dig into what you do on a regular, every day that drives literally all the success you have. And as always, I want you to provide some insight on what you are doing to build Mindshare each day. So before we go there, can you share that backstory with us? Can you just tell us how you developed this unshakable resiliency and this positive outlook that you do carry through life every day?
Sure, I can. So to kind of go into my backstory, you talked about a little bit in the introduction there, but going back to my first year in university, I decided I was going to buy a property and manage it. So I rented some rooms out to friends and kind of tried to turn my living situation throughout university into a business opportunity. And I quickly fell in love with real estate. I loved the concept of real estate as an investment platform. And thought it was really cool. And I thought my real estate agent was a pretty cool guy. He was a young guy, drove a nice car, kind of wore flashy suits, always seemed like he was wheeling and dealing. And I thought it was a pretty cool gig. And I actually took the licensing course in New Brunswick when I was still in university because I thought I was going to get my real estate license, but I didn't pursue it then. I graduated from UNB in 2008 and entered the corporate world. So I was the regional manager for a company there in New Brunswick. And who knows? I love that. I like managing a large company. A lot of things about that role intrigued me. But January 9th, 2009, so 10 years ago this year, I was hit by a minivan and paralyzed. So I was walking up the side of the road and a guy was playing with his radio, didn't see me, just hit me with his minivan, flipped up over his hood and went through his windshield. About a week later, I woke up from a coma, completely paralyzed on the left side of my body. So if you imagine a line right down the middle of my body, everything to the left side of that line was paralyzed. So a pretty crazy event. But honestly, man, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me because I feel blessed to have gone through that. Because in the 10 years since my accident, I've literally picked up a lifetime's worth of knowledge and insight. And
it's happening again, literally. Everything's standing up. And I've heard this story so many times, dude. Sorry about that.
That's okay. But it's one of those things, right? Like I've had the opportunity to learn more about life in 10 years than most people learn in an entire lifetime. It's an amazing thing. So anyways, my recovery progressed, and when I decided that I was going to go back to work, I decided that I was going to sell real estate. I'd always thought about it. It was one of the things, it was always in the back of my mind, kind of eating away at me. So after my recovery, I moved back out on my own, and I was going to sell real estate. The only issue for me then was I didn't have a driver's license. So whenever you have a brain injury like the one that I had, you have to wait to go through a driving program at the hospital to get your driver's license back. Wasn't going to stop me. I said, you know what? No matter what the obstacles are, I'm going to do this. So I went down to the bus station. I got myself a Metro Transit pass, and I was ready to go. So for most of my first year selling real estate, I rode the city bus. So I'm talking like showings, listing presentations, open houses, office meetings, going to the office every day. Everything I did, I rode the city bus. I had no other choice. And it posed some pretty big time management obstacles. So I remember sitting there, I'd be booking an appointment to go show houses, and I'd have to have the Metro Transit schedule open on one screen and the properties on MLS open on another screen, because I'd have to line up all my showing times with when the bus was near the house. So I would take the closest bus stop, get off, and walk to the house and meet my clients there to show them.
Fake it till you make it, they say, right?
Oh, buddy, yeah, something like that. But it was, you know what, it provided a lot of good insight into how to manage your time effectively and kind of confidence and just overcoming obstacles. It was an amazing experience that I went through.
Dude, it's, you know what? It's one of those. Years ago, I was building houses with my wife's uncle, my uncle. And, I started literally like sweeping floors and picking up after the trade and, like wrapping up at the end of the day and moving material around, but slowly but surely I was learning from every single person what they were doing, and I was watching how they did it. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, like you're a lot better with your hands and you're able to do things you never thought you could do. The following year I progressed, and now I'm not sweeping anymore, but I'm dealing with material ordering and the trades and sort of coordination, and then inspectors came in, and then all of a sudden it became like dealing with the homeowner, and then next thing you know I had all this responsibility. But kind of like Drake says, right, started from the bottom. Now here it's that idea of kind of going, it seems like your story right there, very different than many other stories we may hear out there based on, what had happened to you and what caused you to kind of be in that position. But it's that same idea of like, I love what you just said about taking the bus, but it was time management, right? We had to figure out, when's that schedule? How do I get there? How do I show up on time? How do I make it seem like I'm real? That to me is what that's a big thing right there. And that's something that I deliver a lot of times, even as sort of mind sharing, right? Where I'm saying, it's about time management. Like, stop with the bullshit excuses. Stop with the, oh my God, I don't have time. Like, you've got time for what you want in life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could get anything you want done in life as long as you schedule it accordingly.
Exactly. Yeah. So I remember, like, especially days that we had office meetings and then I had a few showings or whatever, like I'd be on the bus for 3 or 4 hours a day on days like that. Right.
That's wild, dude.
And it's just, it all comes down to effectively manage your time. It's the same thing. So, I mean, my 2 kids, I talk about them all the time. I love those boys more than anything in the world, right? But talk about a time management obstacle. Like, I'm working 13, 14 hours a day selling real estate. And then all of a sudden, when you have 2 kids, you can't do that. Like, it's just, that's not practical anymore. So all of a sudden, there's another time management thing that I developed and grew from. And now I think I have a pretty good work-life balance.
You know what? I love it. And actually, so I mean, first, that first part of the story is absolutely incredible. And I think that, anybody here that heard that first part, my encouragement to anybody is every time you've got a day where you're a little bit down, where you've got a day where it's a little bit shitty or it's gloomy outside or gray outside or you're just not feeling it, remember something. It can always be worse, and it's always up to you, right, to make it better. It's a mental game. So moving into the real estate sort of talk here, right? And I'm talking like the day-to-day stuff, Anthony. One thing I want to make sure we do here today is that we do provide some insight into what you're doing to create that repeated success. And then hopefully everybody can walk away with, obviously, like we even talked about, some actionable items. But 100%. I also want to, as usual, help people build more mind share. And from the outside looking in, buddy, dude, like, not because you're my boy, but you've done an amazing job at doing that. And in my mind, you've done it the right way because, quite frankly, and I'm going to do the promo right now, but I don't see, when I say this, I don't see Ask Anthony Associates hitting me over the head with a bat going, hey, buy a house with us, buy a house with us. Like, I see Anthony Brown. And not to shy away from the fact that you've got an amazing team. And just like I say, without having that team, we only get so far anyways, right?
Absolutely.
But it's, tell me this. What does a typical day in the life of Anthony Brown look like? What are you typically up to? You just talked about the kids, managing time, everything else. Like, where's your focus in a day? How does a day look?
Oh, buddy.
Aside from putting on that dapper suit all the time.
So my day starts at 5:30 in the morning, no matter what time I go to bed, no matter
what
time
do you go to bed?
10:30, 11.
Okay.
But so what I've learned, and I learned this a long time ago, if you own your morning, you can own your day. That's a great book, by the way. Own your morning, own the day. If you own your morning, you can own your day. If you own the day, you can own the week. If you own the week, you can own the month. And man, if you own the month, why not own the year? And if you own the year, why not own your life? Like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you, right? Yeah. So my day starts at 5:30 every day. So I picked up a pretty good tip in terms of like managing your energy level. So when you have a brain injury, they talk to you a lot about fatigue because you get tired and stuff like that. So I picked up a lot of life hacks about managing my energy level. And one of them is to wake up at the same time every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, regardless. So the theory is even if you go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I might do that every now and again, right?
Never.
No. But if you wake up at the same time every day, regardless of when you go to bed, you might be more tired for one day, but over the course of a month, you're going to have a more consistent energy level. So I wake up at the same time every day. I have 2 glasses of water. First thing I do, I go down to the kitchen, 2 glasses of water. Then I grab a cup of coffee and I head downstairs to my office. I sit in silence for a few minutes. So I could be just sitting in silence, thinking about things or not thinking, meditating, whatever I do. I just spend a few minutes in complete silence. And then I get into my exercise. And when I'm exercising, I'm picturing what my day is going to be like. So I'm setting up my day in my mind mentally. I try to exercise every day, 7 days a week. It doesn't have to be weights. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be anything in particular, but do something active every day. It's just good for you. It's the best thing you can do. Like a lot of people, they want prescriptions and they want different things for different aspects of their life, like to fix things. Like exercise can be the best medication, the best preventative measure that you can have for a lot of things in your life. So I spend some time exercising, and then I'm up for when the kids get up around 7. I'm up to wake them up. So I'm done my morning routine. I've already set up my day with success because I've stuck to my routine. I've done everything I need to do to prepare myself for the day. My day is ready to go. By the time 7 a.m. hits, I've already accomplished what I need to accomplish to set myself up for success that day. It's a really cool thing. So there's a book called Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Phenomenal book. I think everyone should read this book. So 7 o'clock, the kids get up, get them ready for school. I get ready for work. Pam gets ready for work. Kind of that's an hour of chaos, I'd say, between 7 and 8. Like I'm checking emails a little bit, kind of. So that's chaotic. But then the kids are ready. I'm usually out the door around 8.
Okay.
I am extremely fortunate. A huge shout out to my wife, Pam. She is phenomenal, man, like unbelievable. So she pretty much gets the kids ready most mornings and kind of does the vast majority of that side of things. So she's a huge supporter of my business and my speaking and everything like that. Just an all-around amazing person.
Hey, just in case, because my wife's possibly watching. Jen, I love you. I think the same. You're amazing. She knows that, though. Watching you said it, I could get in trouble.
Yeah. So one morning a week, I'll take Donnie, my 3-year-old. So he comes to the office with me one morning a week to hang out. He comes to my office to have coffee with everyone. So nice. He comes and sits and drinks his warm milk before we go to daycare, which is
you got another team member in the making here.
Yeah, trying to. My work day typically starts around 8:30. So I like to get settled, have a cup of coffee. I turn on my sunlight lamp. So here is a wicked life hack for anyone that works in an office. Buy a sunlight lamp on Amazon. They're like $70. And it is hands down one of the best investments you can make in your day, especially in the wintertime.
Dude, I love it.
Oh man, listen, I've done so much research and everything on peak performance and biohacking. It's just, I could talk about this stuff for hours. We don't have enough time on this podcast.
No, but realistically, if we say sunlight lamp and Amazon enough times, it may just show up before we're done ripping this podcast today.
Oh man. So that was one of the best things. So for 15 minutes, I put the sunlight lamp directly on my face while I'm working. It just exposes you to that good light that you
That's
don't
cool.
get from fluorescent lights and stuff like that. Typically, my prospecting is done in the morning. So my prospecting will start at 9 o'clock my time.
And what kind of prospect is this? Cold calls? What is
So
this?
that's cold calls, calling online leads. We're generating a ton of like CMA request leads, a lot of buyer registration leads on our website, property inquiries. And now, so from 10 until 1 and 1 until 4, Monday through Friday, I have one of my agents on the team is on duty. So they're responsible for getting back to all online inquiries, all online leads within 5 minutes. But between 9 and 10, there's no one on duty. So I'm kind of taking the bulk of that work,
Okay.
as well as cleaning up most of the incoming leads from the previous night. So calling a lot of leads, and I go by time zone. So say I have a bunch of Ontario numbers. So once you start generating enough online leads, you become really familiar with area codes.
Yeah.
Like I can pretty much let you know where every area code is in the country. And
That's how I feel dealing with you guys for the past 13 years. I'm like, oh yeah, they're out in blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not a Canadian area code. They're like, how do you know? I'm like, trust me.
So I got one funny story for you with area code, but I'm going, with Newfoundland numbers, I'm starting to call them at 8:30 my time because that's 9 a.m. their time. With numbers in Ontario, I'm starting to call them at 10 o'clock my time. So we do calling competitions. So one day a week, my team all gets together and we do a call comp. So it's straight up how many leads can you get, how many appointments can you book, and how many follow-ups can you book in a 1 hour time frame or when you get through 100 leads. So we're doing this one day a week.
Okay, wait, I got to ask you a question then, if I may, and don't answer if you don't want to because we are live.
Yeah.
How many leads are you generating a day or a week through, let's say, the online stuff that you're up to?
So we're generating around 500 online leads a month.
Okay, cool.
Between social, Google AdWords, and our CMA generator.
And then above and beyond that, you guys are doing the cold calling as well?
I do.
Is that like dialer type stuff?
So that's like legit, like I'll take a geographical area, I'll print off all the streets, I'll do a reverse address search for all those streets on 411.ca, and I'll print off 1,000 phone numbers, I'll check the do not call list, and then I'll go.
Dude, you see, does everybody hear that? Okay.
Oh man,
that is grind though, because that type of stuff sucks. But
you know what though? It doesn't.
But see that, dude. But that's kind of where I'm going with it. Like, first of all, bring you in business. Does it bring you business?
It does, absolutely.
Okay. Does it keep the mind sharp by calling like that many people? Like you just
absolutely.
I mean, come on. And you're doing that in the morning time. That gets your entire day rocking.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And you know what the other thing too is, like, anyone that's in real estate knows this. There's this weird, I call it a real estate energy. If you're busy doing real estate things, the business finds you. So it might not be from cold calling, but if you're cold calling or if you're dialing leads, if you're talking to leads 5 days a week, all of a sudden your sister's friend wants to sell their house, or you get a couple good leads at an open house, right? The business finds you if you're busy doing the business.
That's like two things. One, that's in a weird way, like I'm going to call that kind of karma, right?
Yeah.
And when I say that, people say like karma could be like the bad stuff or the good stuff or whatever. I'm going like, when you put it out there to the world and you are consistent and genuine about it, somehow the world starts going, hey, here's a little bit back then. Here you go. Yeah. Here's some back. And you keep pushing. And it comes back to that other thing, the same thing of shooting and scoring, right? Score every shot you take. So if you start to up how many shots you take, well, your scoring rate goes up as well, right?
That's what I was just going to say. What does a hockey coach say if their team's not scoring? You got to put the puck on the net.
Right? That's it, man.
And keep your stick on the ice. Keep your stick on the ice. Get the puck to the net.
That is a wicked piece of sort of knowledge that you just dropped. And again, it does. Look, realistically speaking, people should know this stuff. You should know that you got to go out there and prospect and cold call and do that dirty work. There's got to be a process for it. But again, there's another there's proof in the pudding here that realistically, you do this often enough, it does come back. Like period, it just comes back.
And a great thing. So a lot of people know this stuff, but they're not doing it, and they don't know why, or they'll do it for a couple days and then they'll stop. It's all about habits. So my morning routine, putting my kids to bed, like exercising, working on my left arm, like all this stuff, it's all a habit. A great book to read is The Power of Habit. Phenomenal book. So if you want to start prospecting, do it 3 or 4 days a week. You don't have to do it 7 days a week. Do it 3 or 4 days a week, but do it for a month straight. Because if you don't do it for 30 days, it doesn't become a habit.
Hey, this is why, seriously, not like no pitch here, but this is why the Mindshare Challenge is 8 weeks.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
We thought about it. We said, okay, we could do this in a day. We could do it in 2 days. We could do it. But it's that, even the fact that, like, I mean, here, we're even broadcasting live to our Mindshare Challenge group right now, which is that private members only group. People in there are watching this thing, but they also know that I'm live with them every single day, just trying to poke, kick, push, motivate, anything to keep that habit. So again, buddy, your new host of the Mindshare podcast, Anthony Brown.
And so here's the cool thing about habits, right? Is habits can be in anything in your life. So I have habits with my family. So one thing that I'm known for, like I say, one of my goals with my family is to put my kids to bed 6 nights of the week if I'm in Halifax. So if I'm home, I want to be in my house for bedtime 6 nights of the week. By the way, for anyone that has kids, the 2 most influential times in your kids' lives is as soon as they wake up and right before they go to sleep. That's when you have the most impact in your children's lives. So obviously, like if I'm in Toronto or if I'm somewhere speaking, that makes it difficult.
Yep.
But if I'm home, I want to be there to put my kids to bed 6 nights a week. That gets hard when there's hockey games and there's hanging out with my buddies and there's, when in the summertime when the days get a little bit longer, there's evening golf, right? There's clients, there's helping my agents out. There's a lot of things, but the goal is, and that wasn't easy at first, but I made that a habit.
Which is amazing, especially when we say and we acknowledge the fact that it is one of the most powerful times in our children's lives.
Oh, big time.
You say that and like it resonates so true, right? Because it's like you think, this morning, got up, hung out a little bit, said like whatever, told them how much I love them, whatever. But then you're out the door.
Yeah.
And you come home at night. It's like, and that's one thing that I do is I make sure that I am home. And again, granted, whatever I could be, if I'm out speaking, out on the road, if I got a late meeting, stuff comes up for sure. But the more times I can be at home, like there is no, look, I'm fortunate. I get to play hockey every single week, every Thursday night with my boys. Like I love these guys. It's like, we shoot the shit and we crack jokes about the stupidest stuff in the world. And we're all like little boys at that moment, right? Yeah. But the reality is we got a family at home and I love my friends, but I want to be at home with my kids, man. Like Joshua celebrated his 8th birthday yesterday. Dude, this guy's getting huge. What's going on? It's like you're sitting there putting your hand on top and be like, no, just stop.
Yeah. And one thing too, like when you have a goal like that, it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect at it every single week. That's your objective. Your objective is X. Like if you want to prospect for new business 3 mornings a week, and you only do it 2 mornings a week, 1 week, don't beat yourself up because it's not the end of the world. You're building what the ideal week looks like. You're never going to hit that every single week. But if that's your goal, if you're always striving to do that, you're always going to get most of the way there. You know Be Do Have, right? Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Be Do Have.
Yeah.
Right? You be someone, you do something, and then you have whatever you have as a result of that. It's your intention. That's what it's all about.
Well, that's where tracking comes in, and I mean, you said it before there about what was it? Own your morning, own your day, and then you said like own the day, own the week, own the month. So I've sort of, one of the things that we go through in our challenge, like, is that reverse engineer of like where do you want to be?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times, and I had this conversation with a friend, a mutual friend of ours. But her and I were talking. She's like, like I'm always so positive. I'm always so excited. And like business is usually so good, but I'm in a rut. I got to change something up. I got to do something. Yeah. And this comes back to, and I mean, I've done this many times as well. And I'm sure many, many people have. But when you think about, what do you want in life, right? And we're so exposed on these things to what other people have that there is, that line, keeping up with the Joneses, is old school, yet it's so true in today's world that like everybody looks at that stuff. They're like, oh, he's got it or she's got it, but I don't, I want to have it. I'm like, oh my God, FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. So one of the things that I look at, and I've done for myself, and because I live it, I then share it back with people, and it's very stupid simple, but it's kind of the reverse of what you said. I go, what do I ultimately want in life, right?
Yeah.
And this could start from my kids being healthy, a successful family, my wife being like, my family being healthy, everybody in my family, all my friends, right? But it could be, ultimately maybe, what kind of house do you want, and it's whatever. Do you, I don't know. I want to travel the world. Like whatever it is that you want in life, let's be realistic to the fact that you're probably not going to get it all this year.
Yeah.
So instead of looking at the end of the year and going, I'm still in the same place I was. Well, okay, like put that aside and go, am I getting a little bit closer to where I want to be? And that all breaks down from going lifetime down to literally just like you did, annual, monthly, weekly, daily. And knowing that if we track everything we do, and so I've got a question about that actually. It's because I believe that, just by tracking, it's like when I look at my calendar, and I mean, I'm very open about this, but my calendar, everything that I've got to do in a day is orange, where I have to physically be somewhere. That's how my mind looks at it and goes, orange, you've got to be there. It's not like you can't be, right? It's not like you can push it aside to 3:00 when it's scheduled for 2. No, it's orange. I've got to be there. But when I'm done, I mark it complete. I make it gray, and I move on. Now, it's a way for me to go, great job. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I can look back at that and go, I don't know, was there 10 items in the calendar that were orange and there's 9 of them that are gray now? If there's 1 orange left, did I win or did I lose today? I'd say I won. And some days you're going to get it all done, and some days you're going to get a little less done. But if you can look back on that day and go, I accomplished more than I didn't. Yeah. And at the end of a week, I did more than I didn't. At the end, a month, and am I getting closer to that annual and therefore that lifetime goal? So
and I'll jump in and say one thing there with that. So I use Google Tasks. Like I'm a Google guy. All of our business stuff is hosted on Gmail and Google Apps. So G Tasks is like a to-do list that syncs with your Gmail calendar. Phenomenal business hack for anyone that's not using it. But when you're done something, you swipe right. So you have your to-do list, and there's such a gratifying feeling of taking that whatever you have to do and just swiping, just knocking it off, right?
I used to use the pen and paper, and it would literally be like a check mark.
Yeah.
And like I'd cross it off and be like, It's those little wins though, and I think that's the little motivation that we can all give ourselves in a day for whatever that business is. And like you said, it's you're not going to get it all done, but if you get closer to it, you're doing something, right? Like you're getting closer. That's a positive thing. So you just said you're tracking everything with Google Tasks. Yeah. Are you using Google Calendar? Is that
So we use the Gmail calendar, and we have a few different calendars. So we have so Amanda Carter is my operations manager, and she's phenomenal, and she would be able to describe this to you better than I can. But we have like a closings calendar for the team. We have a training calendar for the team. Her and I have a shared like leadership calendar. I have my own personal calendar, and they're all different colors, and they all kind of sync together on my Gmail app on the phone. So I can track when my agents have closings, when we have deposits due, and she can track it as well. And then it's also shared with the team.
So you're managing all of your time through Google Calendar. When you say different calendars, we're talking different views within the Google Calendar?
So different accounts, right? So there's there's like a closings calendar.
So, but everything could be shared to basically one calendar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So, and you were also saying that, so you're using Google Calendar to manage time. We get what the daily routine looks like. And you also mentioned off the top a lot about sort of like leads and cold calls. Yeah. So where does most of your business come from? Is it people you know, people you don't know? Is it a mix? Like what's?
So we're a pretty even 50-50 split. And now I'm talking about my entire team.
Yeah.
Our goal is to have 50% of our closed transactions come from people that we know, and 50% come from people we don't know.
Okay.
Like I think it's great for people that pride themselves. They say 90% of my business comes from repeat referrals. Like I think that's great. But for me and the growth opportunities that I see and where I want to be and where I want my team to be, it's just not sustainable if any more than half of our business is coming from people that we know. And the reason being, if we're generating 500 online leads a month, say we might only be converting 2% of those because online leads, your conversion is low.
That's okay. That was a great point. So is that about what it is, Anth?
So we're about 3% of valid leads, right? So say 30% of our leads are fake names, fake phone numbers, fake emails, not in service numbers.
And that's
whatever.
for real. That shit happens.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Yep.
So we're about a 3% close on our valid leads. But here's the one thing that we do differently than most people in the industry, I think, is if I'm talking to you and you're an online lead and you say, oh, no, listen, I'm not really looking. We're pretty happy where we're at. We just bought our house a couple of years ago. I was just curious to see what the backyard looked like in that house, right?
Got it.
I'm going to say, like, David, that's fantastic. I hope you had a great experience on our website. By the way, my team and I do a lot of business in your area. Would it be all right if I put you in my database so I can communicate with you about real estate in the future? So even though you're not buying or selling, there's absolutely no reason to follow up with you right now from a transactional perspective. I want to build that relationship with you, put you in my database, bring you things of value so that I'm going to get your referral business and then hopefully your business down the road as your trusted real estate advisor. So that's the cool thing with the way that we're doing our online leads is we're taking all these people and we're adding them into our database. So our database is growing exponentially year after year after year. So if we continue to I get really excited about this stuff.
I know you're getting me excited too. It's like you're listening into the stuff that I've been teaching.
But so if we can get a 22% return on our database, which we get, so if we can get a 22% return on our database and we grow our database by 100 quality people every year, which is not unreasonable.
Not at all.
All of a sudden, we're growing that 50% of our business from the people that we know by 22 deals a year.
See that? Knowing the numbers.
Right? We're big time. Like that's big time.
Yeah, well, this is, look, when you really break it down and simplify this, and I've got like 13 different screens going on here, so I'm just trying to watch those comments, and I got to tell you, I don't know if you're watching them, but you've had some really nice stuff being said about just anyways, a lot of the stuff you're delivering, but it goes without saying. A lot of times, and to all of my challengers listening, listen to what this guy's saying because we've been talking for the past 8 weeks, but meet one new person a day.
Absolutely.
How hard is that? It is so stupid easy to meet one anywhere you go. And if you figure one, and you can add that person to your database, and you may not add 100% of the new people you've ever met, but one new person a day, even 3 to 5 new people on a weekend, could you easily put 365 new people in your database in a year?
Absolutely.
It's a no-brainer.
And quality people.
Yes.
And so I'll give a little shout out here to Wayne Cochran. So he was my broker owner when I started in real estate. He was the one that hired the kid that was going to have to ride the bus to sell real estate, and he coached me and really took me up. Phenomenal, like brilliant businessman. But he said every day he would put 10 business cards in his pocket, and he would not stop working until he had given out 10 business cards.
Love it.
Right? But think about how simple that is.
It's so simple. I know, man.
But it's all about doing it every day. It doesn't work if you do it Monday but not Wednesday. It doesn't work if you do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It works if you do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Give out 10 business cards on Christmas Day. Give out 10 business cards to people.
Love it, dude.
Right? Why not?
Why not?
How many people do you see on a holidays?
Yeah.
On a Sunday or on Saturday?
And it could be anywhere. I remember I was at the mall with my wife. This was a while back, but I remember somebody had asked her like, "Oh, are you on our file or something to get our emails or something?" And my wife said, "I don't know." They're like, "What's your email?" So instead of my wife telling the person her email, she pulled out the business card. She goes, "Here it is."
Yeah.
Genius, right? It's so stupid simple. And you don't know whether that's going to do anything down the road, but we know there's one shot, right? Now let's go do it again and take another shot. And the more shots we're taking. But I love what you said about taking these people, putting them into the database, because one thing, so the other day, and I just released this video on Monday, the little 60-second rants that I do, but I had a cold caller last week.
I saw that.
Okay. Did you watch the video for, dude?
Yeah.
At least we're live, just say yes, you watched the video.
Yeah, I watched it.
But she calls up and she literally, and I mean, you watch it, you get the story, but just for anybody very quickly, like she calls up and she and listen, she was very, very polite. And in fact, the phone was staticky on the first call. So she's like, I'll call you back. And I hung up the phone and I stood there for a second because I love getting cold called by realtors.
Yeah, me too.
She ends up calling back and very polite, very nice, well-spoken. And she starts asking me questions. And naturally, when she told me like which office she was at, and I told her like her office address, just like I said in the vid, she was a little freaked out. She's like, are you a realtor? I'm like, no. She goes, okay. So she starts asking me questions. So, well, what's your last name? And that's when she didn't want to give me that. She didn't want to tell me her website. She wasn't comfortable. And you know what? I get it. I do. Yeah. I can respect that. At the same time, you called me for an appointment. So we got into good conversation. Like we actually stood on the phone probably for like 15, 20 minutes. And I said to her, what are you aiming for today? And her whole thing was trying to get an appointment. But listening to what you just said, and much the same mentality I've got, forget about just trying to get the appointment. I get it. You want the appointment. Yeah. I get it. You want to put the sign in the lawn. I got it.
Yeah.
But what if that doesn't happen? Now what? Right? You spent your time with these people. You had a conversation. I mean, I wasn't rude with her. She actually said I was the best phone call she'd had all night.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, put me in your database.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Right? And just so that everybody knows, it doesn't mean I'd work with her.
and that's a powerful question. So the same thing could be if you're at a golf course and you're playing golf with someone for the first time that you've never met before, or you meet like a new financial advisor or a new lawyer. That's a powerful question because it becomes permission-based marketing. So once you have someone's permission to market to them in the future, they all of a sudden then are bought in. They buy into your business.
Oh,
If I just talk to you on the phone and I look up your address and I start mailing you stuff and I start emailing you stuff, and all of a sudden you're in my database, but we've never had that conversation, you might put that wall up. This guy's a dick or whatever.
Yeah, because you're the salesperson, right?
Yeah. But once you say, hey, David, by the way, I do a lot of business in your area. My team knows your neighborhood very well. Would it be all right if I follow it up with you about real estate in the future? You say, yes, I have your buy-in. Then it becomes permission-based marketing. So much more powerful.
I agreed 1,000,000%. So, and a lot of time we're talking about, we're talking about taking people that are online leads, social media leads, whatever online. We're talking cold call. And you said it, we're transferring those people from strangers, turning them into clients by asking them permission. And it's not necessarily clients that do business, but this is like, let's say contacts in our database, right? But we've asked permission, we've put them in there, and now it's time to build mindshare with these people. So what are you doing then? So, and we got the sense of this. You're doing some social media ads. You're doing some Google stuff. You're generating online leads. I assume you've got some lead magnets that people can get when they go wherever they go, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason they're going to give you their information. You're doing the cold call. Beautiful. Now we've got people in the database.
Yeah.
What does that kind of look like without giving us all your trade secrets? Because whatever, keep to yourself.
Yeah.
What does that kind of look like from like a keep in touch perspective?
So we're constantly evolving this. And we did a lot of newsletter stuff. We did a lot of client parties. We're constantly evolving. I think a lot of it now is social media engagement. I think there's more value if you're in my database and I see that your son just won a big hockey tournament. There's more value in me sending you a quick congratulations video message on Facebook saying, hey, David, just want to send a quick note, congratulations to your boy. I see you won a big hockey tournament. There's more value in that and a lot of other things that you could be doing or that people did in the past. We're trying to do things that add value. So we're sending like home show tickets. We're sending letters when tax assessment time comes out. Like, here's how you can challenge your tax assessment.
Cool.
We're trying to put together a preferred affiliates list for all of our tradespeople. So an engineer, an electrician, a carpenter, blah, 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 that we're going to bind and send out to people in a really nice portfolio case. We're moving towards like micro client events. So we do a big Easter party, we do a big Christmas party, we do a big summer barbecue. But they're almost getting so big that we lose the value in them. So I'm starting to do like micro events. Like I'll take 7 people golfing. We'll book 2 tee times. We'll do breakfast or lunch at the club, and we'll play a round of golf. Or we had one set of clients. It was a couple that sent us like 4 or 5 closed deals last year. I sent them away for a weekend at Oak Island Resort. I paid for the room, gave them a food credit, gave them a spa credit, and I called his mom and got her to take their kids for the weekend. So I set the whole thing up, and then I called them and said, listen, man, your mom's taking the kids for the weekend. I got you guys all set up at Oak Island. Just a really good way of saying thank you for your continued support to our business. That's or like hockey tickets or getting a box at the hockey game, like things like that where there's less than 12 people is what we're finding big success with in the client event type thing. We're still going to do like the 300-person Christmas party and the 100-person Easter party. But with the less than 12 people micro events, that's where we're seeing a lot of success.
So a lot of events you're doing, and you said you're doing the newsletter thing. You're obviously, seeing people. And naturally that's going to come to texting people, calling people.
Yeah, so four phone calls a year is really important.
Okay, there you go. So there's 4 phone calls a year. Yeah. There's 4 phone calls. There's a client party, at least one, maybe a couple. Macro or micro, let's say. Yeah. You're doing your texts, obviously. You're seeing people. You've got the newsletter. I'm assuming you're doing email. We know you've got the website. So talk to me about your social. And you just brought that up because this is one thing that I think there's a big misconception out there around of what do I have to do to up my social media game? And a lot of people believe that they should just go out there and spend a lot of money on ads to up their game. The way I look at that is, hey, realistically speaking, if I don't have a relationship with you, I don't know who you are, we've never gone down that road, but all of a sudden you're advertising to me, you are the salesperson, and that's who you are, right? So, I mean, realistically, if you're just doing the salesperson thing, you're not really tapping in. So what's the deal around, let's say, your social game? And you just mentioned, like, you'll go on, you'll do that, but I guess maybe, where's the question in that? It might be, should people be just spending money on it, or do we need to have their organic game really pumped up before they even try to spend money on it?
I think the organic needs to be set up before you start pumping a bunch of money into this stuff. You really need to build your online reputation. So if you look at any of our Google reviews, if you look at any of our Facebook reviews, if you look at any of that stuff, we have an amazing online presence when it comes to that stuff. And that's not because we go on and delete any bad reviews or we only ask the people that are happy with our service for reviews. We ask everyone for reviews, but we do a great job, and then we try to share that with people. But the tricky thing with real estate is it's really easy as a real estate agent to get caught up in the real estate game. A lot of people
spending your days in real estate groups rather than with the people you're supposed to be dealing with,
or posting all the time about how many open houses you're doing, or how many homes you're showing today, or how many offers you've written. Like, that's great stuff, and it's good to do sometimes. But if you work at Tim Hortons, no one wants to see you post about how many coffees you pour every morning on Facebook. That's not what they want to see.
Right.
So you need to do things on your social that are building your online reputation. And then once you have that, then you can start pumping money into it and do some crazy things on the advertising side of things. Right? So post and comment and engage organically, and then you have a platform to start pumping money into some pretty cool, like we're doing some pretty cool social ad stuff right now.
And that social ad stuff, though, it works because the fact that you've built the foundation.
Yeah, the foundation's there.
Right, the foundation's there. Like, and that's why I said again, when it comes to Mindshare, I don't get hit over the head with Ask Anthony and Associates. I know for sure what you do for a living, right? But there is a mutual friendship and relationship that's developed through strictly. And hey, dude, seriously, you're on the East Coast. I'm in Toronto. We've seen each other at many conferences. We've hung out many times, but what social allows you and I to do is stay in touch literally daily if we want to, right? Absolutely. Which is really cool. Like, we get to see the fact that, you're a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. What was it? You're a diehard Pats fan, right? I know. You're a diehard Leafs fan, right?
Leafs fan.
Stay in touch with. But that's where that organic game comes from. So that now, if I see an ad come through, I'm more accepting of that ad. I'm more cognizant of who you are. And I just kind of like, that's my boy doing his thing at this point, which is all good because I know how involved you are on the organic side. So, one of the things that I'm trying to share to people every day is, again, if you can meet one new person every single day, like, you're winning, right? Yeah. From social. post something every day,
Yeah.
anything, but add value. It's not about you just closed for over asking. You just got X amount of dollars in commission. Oh my God, you sold another house. I don't give a shit. Right. But if you can show me what something that has value to me, okay, and that could be you hanging with your kids, okay, because that's family, that's life. I got kids. I can resonate with that. I remember last year at one point, I think it was last spring, I posted a picture of Joshua carrying his hockey bag.
Yeah.
I took a picture and I posted it up. And think about, all the parents with kids who play hockey, for the first time that you watch your kid ever carry their hockey bag, like, yes, right? Wait till he starts tying his own skates, like even better. But then I'm going to start missing that stuff. But there's the stuff that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
When I talk about my Harley, all of even our Royal Page Riders Club, all these people can tap in and see that type of stuff. It's little value add stuff that you're doing just to connect. Yeah. And then remembering, and you said it too. It's not just posting, but it's commenting. Go and comment, get engaged in the conversation.
Yeah. And it's cool. So I have a video of me taking my first steps on my 25th birthday 10 years ago this February, right?
Wicked.
So I decided that I was going to walk on my 25th birthday. Yeah. It didn't matter what, I was walking on my 25th birthday. So I put the brakes on in my wheelchair. My dad held on to me and I stood up and walked on my 25th birthday because I was going to walk on my freaking birthday. That was what was going to happen. So I had that videotape. I have a video of me finishing my first half marathon 7 years later. I have a video of me diving over a snowbank to put up a sold sign. But do you want to know what video people talk about most? It's when Max is reading a book for the first time, or Max is drawing on the board, or Donnie's doing something goofy. Those are the videos that people watch more and talk about more, right? People love that stuff.
So it's all about the real.
It's all about your real life, yeah. And people love to get to know the person behind the brand.
That was a great thing you just said. So speaking of that, then
we should make T-shirts with that,
dude. I'm sending you some mindshare stuff. You're just I'm going on vacation and Anthony's taking.
And I have one more thing to add about the social media stuff. So use it as an old school communication platform as well. So every day I'm checking my Facebook feed. I'm seeing who got engaged, who found out they're pregnant, who just had a baby, who got a promotion, who got married. I'm trying to track all these things, and then I'm sending them a handwritten card. I'm going old school with it. And I'm saying, hey, Dave, great to see that you got a promotion. That's super exciting. Congratulations. By the way, if there's ever anything that I can do to help you or something, just ask. So I'm trying to say 10 of those a week right now.
Dude, I hope everybody is taking some serious notes today. And so also speaking of video, when you talk about social, you talk about the videos you put out. I know, but share, what's your video thing? What's your strategy? Have you got one?
Videos are huge.
Yeah.
So one big thing that I'm doing now that I've gotten a great response from is if it's your birthday and you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you're getting a happy birthday video.
Love it.
You're getting a video message of me saying happy birthday. If I see something really cool that you've done online, I'm sending you a video that says, hey man, listen, I saw your post. Congratulations on making the Royal LePage or the Remax Hall of Fame. Or one of my buddies in West just bought their first house. I sent them a quick video message on Facebook saying, hey man, saw you bought your first house. Congratulations. You should have got me to refer you to an agent. I know. I didn't say that, but you think it, but you don't say it.
But you're doing video. Are you is there a plan to do it consistently, or is this kind of off the cuff? Is there a strategy around it, or is it just I know I need to implement it whenever I feel like I'm going to rip a video? And with that, how are you ripping the videos? Is it your laptop? Is it your phone like I do? Is it one of those just?
Yeah, so I use my phone. Cool. I've had many different strategies. So I was doing video blogs every day for a long time, where I would shoot video footage of everything I did during the day, and then the next morning I would edit it and post it. Became very time consuming, so I had to kind of put that aside for time reasons. I started doing videos about my recovery. I've done little bits about that. When I ran my first race, so I hadn't run in 7 years, and I decided I was going to run a 5K. So I videoed the 1 week leading up to the 5K where I was basically just doing mindset training.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can physically start to run from 0 to 5K in 6 days. But I knew that I could prepare mentally for it. So I did
I just got tired thinking about that.
I've done videos with my kids. Right now I'm doing book reviews. So I'm every time I read a book that I think is like a 7 out of 10 or better, I'm doing a video review of the book and a recommendation.
Yeah. Okay. Here. So tell me, books. You've read off a few already. You told us, and just to come back to that, people own your morning, own your day.
Yeah, the great book.
Miracle Morning.
Yeah.
What you got? Anything else you want to sort of throw out there to everybody?
So right now I'm reading. It's called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. It's an unbelievable. It's a heavy book, so it's like kind of textbooky. And it's really kind of 4 micro books in one very long book, but an amazing book. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is my hands down my favorite book.
Read it, absolutely.
My second favorite book of all time, and this might surprise some people, is Deliver the Unexpected by Richard Robbins. That's a great book. But what some people don't know is that there's actually, so the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was written based on an interview that he did with Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah, I remember.
And it took him 20 years to develop and write. But there's actually a book. It's called The Success Principles, or The Principles of Success. That's the actual interview between Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie. Word for word, the interview that they did that led to that book. It's unbelievable.
So highly recommended.
Yeah, and here's one quick fact about reading. So reading has a direct correlation on your success in life. This is statistically proven. So the average high school graduate in North America will go on to read 1 book or less per year for the rest of their life after high school. That's the average person.
Wow.
The top 5% of income earners in North America average a book a week. So that's 52 books a year.
Holy shit.
Top executive level employees of Fortune 500 companies in North America average 63 books a year.
Wow. And I thought I was crushing it. I'm up to book number 5 already this year.
So I'm on 13. I'm on 13 and 14 right now. So I read 2 books.
For 2019?
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? I got up my game. I thought I was doing well.
So my goal was 75 books completed this calendar year, and I'm gonna crush that.
And are you reading them or are you listening to them?
So I listen to 1 book and I read 1 book at the same time. So I read a paperback book at my house in the morning and the evening.
Okay, so you're not doing anything.
And then when I'm in the car, I listen to a different book.
Got it, man.
So right now I'm reading Invisible Influence, which is an amazing book. So I'm reading that at home, and I'm listening to The Code of the Extraordinary Mind on my phone.
Impressive, Mr. Brown. Buddy, I could, as we always do, we could talk for a long time together.
All day.
But just before we go, where can people find you?
So you guys can find me on social, Ask Anthony or Anthony Brown. Email me anytime, anthony@askanthony.ca. I love helping people. I wake up every day just to help people in any way I can. Even people in my same market, I give them advice all the time. I don't mind sharing everything that I have and everything that I've built and everything that I know. If you want a good book, a lot of people are going on vacation, they're going on March break next week. They'll send me a quick text and they'll say, "Hey man, I need a new book to take with me on the beach. What's your latest book recommendation?" And I'll tell them, if you're talking about online leads, give me a call, send me an email, like whatever it is, I'm here to help all the time.
Love it, brother. And I'm grateful. Thank you. This has been an awesome way to start the morning. I've been watching the comments. A lot of people have been saying the exact same thing. This has been a great way for them to start their morning. So again, man, I really, really thank you very much for your time today, buddy.
I mean, listen, it's absolutely my pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay. So you may have watched us live. Maybe you're watching the recording, or you're listening to this on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or even Spotify. Or maybe you went to theindustrysyndicate.com or even mindshare101.com. Wherever you like to consume your content, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at DavidGreenspan101. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thanks everyone for watching, and listening.